Welcome to Accepted Addictions with P-Dubs. Get ready to immerse yourself in a podcast that's open to people of all stripes and persuasions. Accepted Addictions is not just a podcast, it's a movement. We go over societal norms that are considered acceptable, but are often toxic to our growth, development, and even behavior. This is a platform where we explore the multifaceted identities within ourselves, recognizing that some versions have it all figured out, while others lean into that negativity. This is Accepted Addictions, where every version of you, every evolution of you, is not just embraced, but celebrated. So sit back, open your ears, grab a drink. You know I'll be sipping on my kombucha, and prepare for an engaging journey.
Why everything?
Welcome back to another episode of Accepted Addictions with P-Dubs. I am so happy to have you all back for another episode. And today I want to get into something really juicy, something that's been on my mind and been floating around pretty much a lot lately. And it's the word NPC. You either see it on a t-shirt, you see somebody's clothing brand, you hear people in casual conversation describing others. And for the gamers out there, you already know what the word means. But for those of you that don't know, NPC is basically an acronym for non-playable character. The word is used to describe the characters you interact with throughout the game that are controlled by the game, but not the player. So they usually have limited dialogue or even purpose. They don't have their own independent thoughts. They're just there to serve a purpose or a function, like giving you a quest, selling items, or even providing a story point. NPCs are usually seen as less important since they don't really affect the main plot for real. But we're talking about right now real people using that word to describe real life behavior. And sometimes it feels like we're surrounded by people who are living on autopilot. I've been there, I've been guilty. But what if NPCs in real life just manifestations of our own ego trips? Just think about it. I've been guilty, so I can say sometimes when I'm in a long line in a store or even just dealing with customer service, it can feel like everyone's just going through their own motions. And it's easy to think, this person is such an NPC. This person is a robot. But what's really going on there? Are they the NPC? Or is it just my ego that's disappointed by their lack of main character energy? Am I mad because they're not giving me the attention I want or doing something that really benefits me? Just think of your own close relationships, your own close friendships. Because you might not immediately label them as an NPC, but all the actions, all the thoughts around it equate to that. Okay? Sometimes we expect our friends or our partners to respond in a certain way. And when they don't, we feel like they're not getting us. Other people have their own stories unfolding in front of them. So chill and be open, because we don't know everything, and we need to be open to not knowing what's going on for someone else. Today, I really want to explore how this idea translates to real life behavior, and whether it's just an extension of our own ego projecting onto others, and how they don't meet our expectations. You don't think people out here is trying to figure it out too? You think you're the only one with dreams? Everyone else is a main character in their own story. We're all living our own versions of reality with our own goals, struggles, and perspectives. We've all been in situations where we're frustrated with others for not thinking or acting the way we think they should. And that's where the ego comes in. That's where that ego trip comes in. It's not about them being NPCs, but it's really about us wanting to be the main character and expecting others to be the supporting roles. And it's just not realistic. So once we stop and think, we realize that the world isn't really centered on us. And the ego doesn't even like that. So it wants control. It wants us to feel like this is our story. And if people aren't in it, they're just robots. If people aren't immediately reacting the way we want, they're just robots. They don't have goals. They don't have dreams. They don't have one. And we get frustrated with people who seem to have no self-awareness. But we really got to realize it's more about us wanting to be that main character in every single scenario. I want to dive into this episode a bit more. But before I do that, I want to bring on the artist for today. Today I have a great artist for the Artist Spotlight. I know the last episode we didn't have an Artist Spotlight. It was more about all things P-dubs, all things you need to remember when it came to P-dubs, because it's been a while since I dropped the episode. So before we get into that, I want to dive into the Guilty Pleasure segment. I need to quench my thirst. So before we jump into the Artist Spotlight, I want to jump into the Guilty Pleasure segment with P-dubs. We have Brian here, and he's also going to be trying it with us. So here we go.
This is Guilty Pleasures, and you're tuned into Accepted Addictions.
Welcome back to Accepted Addictions with P-dubs. We now have here...
Hello, hi, this is FREEBAC. Hey, P-dubs.
Hey, we're so happy to have you here today to try this Guilty Pleasure segment with us. Okay. Today we were drinking Brew Doctor. The flavor is Pineapple Paradise, and it says it has pineapple, passion fruit, and green tea. So I'm excited to try it. Are you a kombucha drinker?
I am. I fucks with it.
Okay. So we're gonna see what you think of this, because especially if you haven't had it. I've never had it, so it's gonna be our first time trying this new flavor.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, cheers.
Cheers.
It's like pineapple soda. It's super fruity. What do you think?
Yeah, very fruity. Okay, thank you. Now I've been educated, and so has the public.
But we're back. Today our topic is NPC, and I really wanted to dissect this for real, especially with you as someone that's big on social media. I feel like platforms like Instagram, TikTok, Twitter allow us to curate our own lives as if we're main characters in some kind of reality TV show. We post our highlight reels, and in the comments and interactions, we expect others to fit the role of our audience. They're there to validate us, applaud for us, and even reinforce our egos. It's like we're so stuck in our own world that we don't see that these random likes or comments are all coming from real people with their own real stories. And maybe we're just acting like they're background noise, but that isn't what it really is. And I really want people to grasp that sooner than later. That isn't reality. I feel like artists sometimes play into this idea of being the main character while everyone else is background. Like, how do you navigate that as a creative?
Damn.
Yeah, we hit it with the punch quick.
Right, that was quick. Yeah. What happened with the slow stuff? Okay.
Yeah. You had to digest the drink.
Oh damn. Okay. Let me think about this.
Well, maybe you could talk about NPC. You know, what is your idea of NPC? What does it mean to you?
Yeah.
Especially with this idea, the episode being NPC and the ego.
Okay. Well, my idea of the NPC is that it is a term usually taken from games in which there is a character in this game that is a robot. It is only a generated combination of just computer algorithms that make this character do just ordinary things. Like it's moving on autopilot in this way. And so I think typically we associate a person to be an NPC when we assume this person is playing off of some automated system. I think that the terminology, or perhaps like the association that we give to a person who is deemed as NPC, is doing that in a way in which I feel like by doing that we are degrading this person in a way and not fully seeing this person as a complex being. I think that there can be moments in which that we exist where there is, because whenever I think of that, I think back to like some past relationships in which there was like, it always felt like it stemmed from like a superiority type of complex in which this person would assign that name to someone when they are not perhaps doing things
that fascinate them or intrigues them.
Yeah. Which there can be other moments in which like in that moment when you do call someone that, when they just like do a specific thing or like an action that reminds them of something from a game in which like but I feel like those ones are mostly like jokingly, but if someone's like seriously considering someone to be that, I think that I don't think they're fully accepting or seeing this person as an entire autonomous being for themselves. I think when we think that in relationship to the artist, I think that playing that character, I feel like I guess I'm confused on the question itself in some ways, because I feel like that's even more broader to like not just the artists themselves, but there's people that exist in multiple different categories of job application that consider other people as NPCs. So then my question for you would be like, what exactly do you notice within the arts that you see that these people are assigning such a are positioning themselves in such like an egotistical way that they are assuming other people are NPCs. They are people who just are on autopilot. They're just like, what exactly do you imagine that who that artist is, and also why they would assume other people are NPCs.
On the artistic realm, I really wanted to hear like your perspective as far as like, do you feel artists take on this persona of being a main character and everyone else is just here to consume and they don't really take any place in the world, or they are just here to be, the sheep, quote unquote.
Yeah.
So how do you navigate this as a creative? How do you stay human? How do you still see humans as humans and still see yourself as someone that is equal?
I think the way I navigate it is by not assuming that I am the only main character, that I exist as a main character in a world full of other main characters, that everyone is just their own god, living their own dreams, and that we're all one and the same. But if I'm navigating it in which that there's other people who are assuming that other people are NPCs, then I feel like the way I navigate that is by challenging them. I navigate that by disassociating myself with that type of persona or that type of person. I think in some ways, even when I think of an artist that has been thrown into a position of power because of just the level of like creativity that they're able to produce. But the issue that I have with that idea that the artist is like the authority or perhaps the one that is really causing the change or making such like profound work that like they are like the god of it, like they are like the sole entity that does the creation. I feel like that person who is accepting such a role is not understanding or perhaps realizing that their artistic ability or their artistic craft, the art thing that they make, is also put at that throne, not solely because of themselves, but because of just like the way the culture exists. Like
there's this pressure to stand out as a main character when you are an artist, to have this signature style. So have you ever felt that pressure, or how do you balance staying true to that voice versus following the trend of being this person that is making change?
I kind of like refuse the idea of such authenticity and originality. Like I don't think the work I make is solely from my own consciousness, or it's like I give a lot of credit to the people that exist around me that actually really are the ones that are really helping me and influence the work that I create. And I think
I think it's big on you to say that, because I feel the same. I feel like nothing is original, nothing is new, and we're all just literally just taking from what we've seen and don't even notice where it's coming from.
Yeah.
We're sponges, and as much as we say that, that's when we're open to knowing that we're not as original as we think. We get more from it, because I feel like a lot of times people are like, I'm just the original, I'm the originator, I made everything. It's like, no, you saw something that you were inspired by and you made your own version of it. Let's be real. And it's like, sometimes you can go into autopilot because you're just constantly copying things, or certain things you're just making different styles of. So have you ever felt like you've been on autopilot with your own art, or how do you snap yourself out of that NPC realm and create with purpose?
I think in some ways I'm still learning myself. I think now I have like things that I intentionally in art like want to say, and so then that makes it easier for whenever I do go through this autopilot mode of just taking so much information and producing something. I think in that, because like I have something that I truly want to say, that it allows my voice to be in the forefront of this unoriginal madness of information out of story, and then generating this new thing. I think that probably just comes with like what do you want to say? Like
What is your why?
What is your why? Like why do you exactly? I think that knowing your why is like is what makes the work be perceived as something that is original, that is authentic, when we're able to really vocalize or non-vocalize or just communicate in some form, like what our perspective is. Like I think that's the unique thing. Or
Is there any like annoying advice this is funny that people give you about your work that you just learned to tune out?
The original, or I was like, what does that mean? Be yourself? Like which one?
It's like I'm human today and her tomorrow.
I don't know.
Like,
I don't know. I think that was like the thing that really lost me. So I'm just like, okay, I have to be myself. And so then it's like, what does that mean? And like how do I know that I found myself? Or like do I just like go and search for months and just look for this thing and just like pull them out, and that would be
isolate, and now you're like, oh, I know who I am.
I know who I am. It's like, no, fuck, I don't know who I am. I still don't know who I am. I'm still like learning, and like I'm learning, and I think that's the most.
That's like you just learned to tune that out. Like, how do you usually respond to that when people say that to you?
I think now I just go. What do you mean by that? Like be yourself. Like, how do you do that? Like, do you know yourself? Like, what is this? I just go into like complete curiosity. And be like, what are they really trying to say when they say that? Which is usually just like, I feel like it's usually just
In short, it's like keep going.
Yeah,
just keep going. They'll say be yourself. I'm like, okay. Now I don't know. Am I not being myself? It's like, what did you take me as before? What is this before? So it's just like questions around that. And instead of assuming that, it's kind of like, okay, so what you do is kind of like varies. Like, okay, so what made you say that?
Yeah.
Where are you trying to go with saying that to me? You know. But what was I being before?
Well, and that's what I think. That's what that right there. What you're doing. It's like that's what was my response. I'm like, am I not? Like, I thought this whole time I was being myself. Like, I could have sworn I was Brian. Like, did I wake up? Like, am I not?
I want to switch it up today. I want to give y'all a little twist, okay? So today, I'm going to let Brian, the artist, do the Three Wise Monkey segment.
This is See No Evil, Speak No Evil, and Hear No Evil with P-Dubs.
So for those of you that are listening that is unfamiliar with the Three Wise Monkey segment, it's basically a segment I use that splits up 3 different things, which is see no evil, hear no evil, and speak no evil. For hear no evil, I go over music. For speak no evil, I go over books. And for see no evil, I go over movies or shows that all relate to the topic at hand for today's episode. So, for example, for today, if you can't think of one for speak no evil, I'll just start. And for Speak No Evil today, I want to reference a book that's called The 5 People You Meet in Heaven. And I feel like it relates because it's this young boy named Eddie, and he ran into the street to chase a ball, and that nearly caused a car accident. The driver swerved really sharply to avoid hitting Eddie. And when he almost hit Eddie, it really ruined the man's day. He was already deep into his emotions, and he already were driving pretty emotionally, and he blamed himself for that almost accident because all before then, he was down on himself about his own life and where it was going. That emotional roller coaster that he had resulted in a really fatal car crash. A crash that he ended up going into a building. It was horrific, and the man died. And as a child, Eddie didn't grasp at all what had happened or the impact of his actions on the driver. You know, he was playing with his friends, kicked the ball into the street, and immediately just ran into it without even looking both ways. And he really didn't even think about how that might impact the driver, who ended up dying immediately after almost hitting him. It's only in heaven that Eddie learns that the driver's story is something that happened right after he ran out and got that ball. It's only in heaven that he realizes that that one brief moment affected that man's entire life. And he never took the time to consider that. Later in the afterlife, Eddie learns about the ripple effects of that brief moment. It's only then that he begins to see now how unaware he was, moving through life as a NPC, just following his own path, missing his own actions and how they impact others. Now it's your turn. And I want to say for See No Evil, it's where we mention movies or shows to relate to this topic. So is there anything that comes to mind? Is there any movie or show that illustrates a character who lives this mundane life and goes unnoticed, but their story has a deeper significance? How does that connect to this idea of NPCs? And lastly, are there any songs that make you feel like they capture the essence of being NPC or feeling overlooked? That's what I want to go into for the Hear No Evil segment. How do you feel these songs reflect on individual experiences? The song will also be on the Accepted Addictions episode playlist, so I just want to mention that. But are there any that comes to mind for you, especially with all that we talked about today? So for See No Evil and Hear No Evil, I'm going to throw you the responsibility or the baton to kind of, give your input of what See No Evil will be for you. So it's where for See No Evil, I'll basically ask you, is there a movie that illustrates where a character lives a mundane life and then gets noticed or goes unnoticed, but their story has a significant meaning towards the end? You realize that? Because I feel like that's what NPC is. People think that this person has no significant storyline, and then you realize later on that this person is a big part of the main plot. So is there like a movie or a show for See No Evil that you can bring into perspective for others? Like that villain that everybody didn't care about, or that person in the show that nobody cared about, and then like you see last episode, like, oh my gosh, my favorite character now.
I'm trying to figure that out because it's been like I haven't really sat down to watch a movie like thoroughly. I mean, here and there I watch like maybe a song.
Yeah, let's think of a song for Hear No Evil then.
I think in the relationship to like maybe more so like mainstream media culture when it comes to like an artist that's making work and like intentionally like presenting themselves in this light in which like everyone's noticing them. Like you not only do you know the music, but you know their face, you know everything that they're going through and all these different things. And I feel like a lot of the scores I listen to, like because there is no like face to it, then you have no idea who this person is. And I feel like those people are probably the ones that people consider as NPCs because like who the fuck are you? Like I don't know you. I don't see your face anywhere. But in the back, they're fucking making this very experimental sound. These very contagious, complex, like very deeply emotive music. And so I think that this right here is this is Jet Li portrayed. He's a abstract painter, lyricist, musician, electronic sound.
So his list just goes on and on and on. What he does.
Yeah, exactly. And like the thing is, like he's very like I would think he would be like something related to the NPC in that way in which he's. I don't think he's someone that you would. If I saw him in the street, I don't think anyone would notice who this person is. Mm-hmm. But like if you know, you know, and then yeah, I think that's very much. I think that. And like I think NPC is also like the side character in some ways. Like they are, I think he's playing a heavy side character with like such an important role that it would go unnoticed because it's not like mainstream like type of content.
Unless you're in that world. Yeah, I was watching this commercial. It was so funny. Stella Artois.
What's that?
A beer. And David. It was literally right before I came here. David Beckham. You know who that is? He's like a famous soccer player. And the commercial was funny because it made me think of this like. He thought people were noticing him because he just walked into the bar and he sat down and somebody tapped him, but really she was like, "Can you pass me my beer?" And it was like, "You're not bigger than what you think you are." You know, depending on the world you're in, like people will not notice you. Yeah. So he was like, "Yeah." Like he turned around like she wanted a picture.
Yeah. She's like, "What do you want now?"
She's like, "Excuse me, my beer." And I was like, it made me think of that when he said that because it's like depending on the world you're in, you know, you're not even taking that seriously. So people need to just kind of remove that seriousness or that title that they feel for themselves because you're not probably taking seriously depending on who you're talking to. Sometimes people just stay in a certain world so that they can keep feeling this ego stroke to keep keeping their ego stroked, you know? Yeah. So like I like that commercial because like, I like how you brought him up. I'm definitely gonna add that song to today's playlist. Every episode comes with a playlist. Because
I wonder if like is that like a lifestyle that he wishes would happen? Like is that like I do wonder that that's the case because
that's interesting.
Even with like there's a song about Justin Bieber. It's a song about like literally called Lonely.
Ooh, Lonely Girl.
Oh no, Justin Bieber Lonely.
Oh, okay. So is it newer? Is newer?
Relatively old, probably like 2017 or something like that. I'm not sure. I don't really listen to it like that, but there's the song was just basically him like expressing his desire to be seen, and also like this like the difficulties of like being a celebrity and being seen and being the main character in everyone's lives, and I think that it felt very dehumanizing in that way because he was put on this pedestal. And it was kind of sad. It was also like, damn, kind of like hit the soul in some ways.
Perspective.
Yeah.
Especially as a celebrity, you think that, you know, it's something that they literally try so hard to be, and then they get there like, oh, do I want all this stardom? Do I want all this criticism? Do I want to be on the spotlight this much? You know, we never have that understanding until they do something like that. You know, until Jesse made a song like that, till David Beckham made a song, commercial like that, so we're like, let me think a little more, you know? Yeah. So I think that was cool. I think you definitely put a nail on the Hear No Evil aspect, and I really do thank you for sharing your thoughts on that. We're going to have those two in the playlist for you guys to find. Thank you, Brian, for sharing your thoughts on how NPCs reflect our daily lives through film, literature, and music. It's really fascinating to me how these characters, often overlooked, can provide such deep insights into our own experiences. Before we close, is there anything you want the people to know? We did meet at your opening of a gallery, so I want people to know that you are literally that guy. So let's talk about it. Who is Brian?
To start off just saying thank you, P-Dubs. I think that it's lovely to have you here. I'm so happy to be a part of this, and I think y'all should watch some more of the podcast. Even myself, I have to go down and have a whole fucking
that rabbit hole, man.
Go to rabbit hole. If I can say anything else about the show, I would say you had to be there.
Is there anything you want to share as far as like your art or anything that you have going on next that people can, you know, find you on? Or
I would say just be on the lookout on my Instagram. I'll eventually post a video that I've been working on this film. It should be fun. It should be hilarious, and it's gonna be cool. And that you probably won't find much things on me just because of my relationship to social media, but I'm there. I'm always there. And
he's being modest. He's famous on TikTok.
I will be there. You will see me, and I'm not. I will always be an artist, and
whatever that is.
Whatever that is, right?
Right. Well, thank you. I know I spent a lot of time this episode talking about the negative effects of using the word NPC or the negative actions that come with only being an NPC. But today, for the Sunshine Report, I want to dive into something funny, something that is quite interesting and lately has been a big phenomenon across social media.
This is the Sunshine Report. An open mind is required, but the kombucha is optional.
So I want to talk about Pinky Doll. And if you guys don't know who that is, she's definitely taken the internet by storm with her NPC-inspired live streams. Pinky Doll's streams are known for repetitive, almost robotic actions and phrases. She mixes this fascination as well as curiosity with the things she does. She's been hated, she's been loved, and honestly, you don't know if you want to keep watching or if you want to talk shit about it. And it's crazy because with all the robotic vibes and strange appeal that she offers, people have this fascination with her NPC streams. It really speaks to how people can consume and engage with performances on social media. It's really interesting. So if you guys don't know who Pinky Doll is, go check her out. She's on TikTok, making that bread, making that money by repeating the same things and people constantly viewers going up every second as you watch it, more money getting added every second you watch it. It's pretty interesting, but it's also pretty fascinating to talk about why are people so interested in this, and are we NPCs because this is something that we're interested in. What role do we play in just watching someone just be robotic? And what's really tea to me is the fact that Pinky Doll literally was so intentional when she started this NPC journey. It was so funny when she finally came to the Video Game Awards and people were just so shocked that she was a dark-skinned woman with an accent, because for all you knew, every video she posted was with this filter that allowed her to be lighter. She knew her audience. She knew she wouldn't be received well if she was shown as this dark-skinned woman. So she put on this filter and people ate it up. They came there constantly, gave her money. This filter that quote unquote made her look white, condition she wanted. So take it how you want, but being intentional, whether it's NPC or not, it worked. That was good for the Sunshine Report. And I really hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you check her out. In our everyday lives, we tend to think of ourselves as the main character of our own story. And that's rightfully so. But where it becomes an issue is when we start seeing others as NPCs, assuming that they're just extras in the background of our personal narrative. This is where the ego trip comes in. The ego likes to tell us that everyone else is just going through the motions, living on autopilot, where we're the only ones really living, right? Have you ever caught yourself in a situation where you felt like someone else was just there? Next time you catch yourself calling someone an NPC, ask yourself, am I really the one in control here? Or is it just an ego trip? We talked a lot about the concept of NPCs and the ego today. And in many ways, we're all guilty of tuning out or even just going into autopilot. Sometimes we just go through life without really thinking. You know, the times when we're just driving and it's just manual for us, or we're just walking without even needing any kind of manual, we're just doing something and we realize, I'm not thinking anything. I'm just here, right? How can we be more intentional about seeing, hearing, and speaking truth in a world that often wants us to turn into NPCs? That's a question I'm going to leave with you all. And definitely let me know what you think in the comments, either on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, SoundCloud as well. I'm on all streaming platforms, so let us know what you're thinking and how can we do that together? Thank you for joining me today. To the lives we lead, to the moments we make, to the dreams we wish, and to the fucked up shit we can't erase. Cheers to us. Catch us next time on Accept Addictions. You can always find us on social media at Accept Addictions Pod, right on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, anything you can find us streaming. Have a good night, y'all.
Why everything is supposed to be bad and easy, so good. Everything they told me not to was exactly what I would. Man, I tried to shop, man. I tried to. It's not good, Accepted Addictions with P. Double.